Movies. Doesn't everyone love the movies or film, as some people might say? I learned that recently that we say movies a lot, but a lot of other countries, people say film or films. Anyway, either way, y'all know what I'm talking about. And one thing America is known for, and a lot of people universally agree and enjoy, is American movies, right? There's a lot of movies set here. There's a lot of movies filmed here. It's one thing America has really never been shy to do, right, is make a lot of movies and music and stuff like that. So what's interesting is there's a lot of movies that are famous here and to someone like me be thought of as full-on American movies. But in reality, we're looking at 10 movies you didn't know were filmed down under in Australia. That's right. Let's take a look. By the way, take a peep at my hair here. Yeah, it's a mess. I know. It's very late when I'm recording this. And I didn't feel like wearing a hat. This is rare. It's rare. I always am wearing a hat, right? But yeah, enjoy your rare glimpse at IWrocker with no hat on. Here we go, guys. 10 movies you didn't know were filmed in Australia. We're just going to take a look at these. This is one list. Now, I'm sure that there are many, many more than this. I'm going to need your help on this. We could do a future installment like this, looking at more media, music, different things that are Australian, and some people may not know it. Maybe you are watching this from somewhere else. You want to tell me about some media, movies, something from your country that maybe I wouldn't know is from there. Please let me know that down below. This is a great video for comments, so don't be afraid to tell us something down there. A lot of these movies, I presume, were filmed in Australia and did so kind of under the radar, right? Many people, unless they're total genius at geography, may not have caught that, oh, that's Australia in the background, even though it may be set somewhere else. Coming in at number 10, we have The Matrix. What? Oh my God. Okay, admittedly, I did not know this until, about a month or two ago. I got a couple suggestions on doing videos on Australian movie sets, like people going around to different sites that were featured in famous movies. And I actually reacted to one of them. It was only a 5-minute video. And that was, if you remember, like a massive Windows update on my computer here. And it totally ruined my OBS software, my microphone settings, all these things, and I had no idea until I recorded 4 videos in a row. It took me like 2 hours to screen these videos, to record back to back to back, and then when I put it in the editor, I realized only then that I had no sound. It was a tragedy, and they kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So those 4 videos I recorded that day, I've never re-recorded. But I did find out in one of those videos that discover that The Matrix was indeed filmed in Australia. I thought this was super fascinating. I just never knew that. This is an extremely famous movie worldwide, and I just, like a typical American, I always just thought this was an American flick. Had no idea that a lot of the screen time you're looking at Australia in the background. How cool is that? I believe it was done around Sydney, which just confirms. And yeah, the Martin Place Fountain, Adam Street Bridge, Sydney Tower, St. James Railway Station, and I'm sure others were featured in this. So did you know, tell me if you were Australian and you saw this movie just because, say in 1999 it was all the rage. Did you see this and maybe not know ahead of time? Coming in at number 9, we have Ghost Rider. What? Okay, I haven't seen Ghost Rider in years, but I did see it a few times. It was on TV a lot, and I saw it a good amount. So I'm very familiar with the movie. Pretty interesting film. I had no idea that this was filmed in Australia. Absolutely no idea. This one's shocking to me. I totally thought this was all American film here. St. Paul's Cathedral, South Bank, the Telstra Dome, which is now known as Marvel Stadium, and Yarra Footbridge are just some of the filming locations within Melbourne that make an appearance in the film. How fascinating is that? Ghost Rider in Australia. Wow. Coming in at number 8, we have Scooby-Doo. Now, I only saw this movie maybe once or twice, and it was around 2002. I mean, I probably haven't seen this movie in 18 years, so that would have to be on my rewatch list. I couldn't tell you how good or bad the movie was. I just don't remember. It's been that long. But I'm well aware of it with the screenshot. I do remember the movie itself. Again, no idea. Of course, I wouldn't have any idea back then that that was filmed in Australia. I'll have to rewatch that maybe sometime and look for some clues to see if I can find out, anything giving away the Australian background. Wow, really cool. Did not know that. It actually mentions here Queensland is a filming favorite for most Hollywood movies filmed in Australia for its sun, sand, and picture-perfect wavy blue beaches. Isn't that the truth? Queensland is gorgeous, and how can you argue with lots of sunshine, right? Some people might argue that Australia, with its deathly poisonous creatures, isn't that far away from being a real-life spooky island. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Fool's Gold comes in at number 7. Now, I never saw this movie, admittedly. You will notice that if I don't talk about movies terribly a lot. Unfortunately, I feel like I've seen a lot of movies, but then I'll see, an article or someone will bring up a famous movie that it seems like everyone else saw, and I have not seen. So there are a lot of movies I still have not seen. I don't know why. I don't have an answer for you. But if this movie's famous, I feel like I've heard of it, but definitely not as big as other movies we've seen on this list. Don't know if this is a great movie or not, but I've not seen it. It was filmed in the gorgeous, sun-loving Queensland, and they mentioned it's pretty cool because when the Caribbean isn't available and a tropical location is acquired, where else better than the Gold Coast? So yeah, that's really neat. Fool's Gold, I definitely see Matthew McConaughey right there. Coming in at number 6, we have Moulin Rouge. This was filmed in Australia as well. Good old Sydney, Australia. Ewan McGregor is in that. Wow, and Nicole Kidman. Okay, now Nicole Kidman is definitely Aussie. Ewan McGregor, I don't believe is. I think he might be is he from Scotland? I can't remember. But obviously I know him as Obi-Wan, like a lot of people do. I never saw Moulin Rouge, but I've definitely heard of it. So don't know if that's a sin that I haven't not seen that. But I'm assuming it takes place, like this says, in Paris, but it's definitely not filmed in Paris. How funny that it's filmed in Sydney. Yeah, it says set in France during the year 1900. The dramatic scenery was given a surreal, fantastical appearance with the magic of Fox Studios. But what else could be expected from Australian director Baz Luhrmann? Wow, very fascinating. Very fascinating when they can transform a place on the other side of the planet to look like another. Really, really kind of cool and interesting. X-Men Origins comes in at number 5. Wolverine. Now, I'm very familiar with these. These are excellent movies. Hugh Jackman is a beast. How many times have you heard that? He just is, man. He's a great talent. Seems like a really cool guy. I mean, he was totally ripped in these movies, too. Definitely know already that he's an Aussie. And how cool that the Wolverine movie here was filmed in Australia, specifically in New South Wales. So if you could see the background there, I remember there were some beautiful shots, like this wilderness shot. I think he had a face-off with like helicopters and something. And yeah, you could see these cool mountains and stuff in the background. Really, really neat setting. It also says parts that weren't filmed in Australia were filmed in Canada and New Zealand. So what a cool movie. Great sets all around because Canada and New Zealand are obviously great countries as well and have some very scenic spots to offer. Coming in at number 4, we have Babe. Oh my God, I haven't thought about this movie in probably decades. I have seen this movie, and probably not since 1999. It's been a long time since I've seen this, literally decades. We're in the 2020s now. I haven't seen it since the 90s. Wow. That is literally 3 decades ago. So, yeah, I couldn't tell you where it was filmed, but I would have assumed it was American as well. But sure enough, it is not. It was filmed in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, Australia. Really, really neat. This actually won the 96 Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. I do remember, I mean, granted, I was a kid, so take this with a grain of salt, but I do remember this being fairly realistic, especially finding out it's from 1995. The animals were obviously real, but like the way they talk seemed pretty legit. So yeah, they did a good job on that. And it also mentions that another film about a pig that kids like me probably got confused with each other, Charlotte's Web, was also filmed in Australia. How about it? And then coming in at number 3, we have The Great Gatsby. Now, this movie, I feel like I should see. I feel like this is a famous movie. Of course, I have seen this meme. This meme has been used for just about everything. I think we've all seen that, this screenshot of Mr. DiCaprio here. This is set in 1920s New York, okay? So really cool setting, really cool era. But of course, this is not New York in reality. It's actually set in New South Wales, Australia, including White Bay Power Station as a Valley of Ashes, the International College of Management as the exterior of Gatsby's mansion. So if you've seen that, there you go, mind blown. This is not literally the iconic New York City, but rather Australia. Wow. And then finally, coming in at number 2, we have Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Tell No Tales. Now, this is from 2017. I must be out of the loop on this franchise because I didn't even know there was a movie from 2017 from Pirates of the Caribbean. Notice I say Caribbean when we're talking about the Caribbean in regular, normal speech. But only this movie, in this context, I say Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know why. My brain cannot shut it off. I say Caribbean all the time until I say the title of this movie, and then it becomes the Caribbean. Let me know if that happens to you, and if it doesn't, then which way do you swing? Caribbean or Caribbean? I just feel like Pirates of the Caribbean, for the movie title strictly, has a better ring to it in my head. So anyway, Captain Jack Sparrow leading the charge on the screenshot here. Yeah, this was filmed in Australia. I want to know where. I was going to say it's got to be around Queensland, right? Just very fascinating environments, very tropical feeling. And there you go. Queensland can do that. It can really kind of take the place of maybe somewhere actually in the Caribbean, like, Jamaica or the Bahamas or something. Queensland can rival that scenery. It's pretty incredible if you think about it. What makes Australia just awesome and so unique. It says Australia's Moreton Bay, Southport, and various other locations used for the film are just as beautiful. I have to agree. It's really incredible, and I bet a lot of people did not or would not have guessed. And then finally, coming in at number 1 spot on this article, we have Unbroken. This is another movie I've not seen, but it was filmed throughout Queensland and New South Wales, so straddling the whole eastern edge of Australia. This seems like a pretty intense movie dealing with extremes of war, survival in the dire circumstances, desperation, all these things. I've not seen this, so but there you go. This was filmed in Australia. So there you go. That's 10 movies that were filmed in Australia. This was actually a good list. I like when you discover a list like this, and instead of being, clickbait, or instead of being just kind of junk or useless information, this is actually useful. Like this is really fascinating. It was for me anyway, because I legit knew a lot of these movies and did not have a clue that they were filmed in Australia. And I think that's really cool once you find that out. So let me know your thoughts on this. Like I said, I'm really eager to see your comments on this. Weigh in on these and maybe blow my mind with some other movies filmed in Australia or filmed elsewhere. If you're watching this from somewhere else, you know of a iconic quote-unquote American movie that may be set here but was filmed somewhere else, filmed in France, filmed in England, or whatever, let me know. And then, of course, that being said, guys, please throw a thumbs up, a like on this video. Help it out. And, of course, you can subscribe as well. Join this unreal, amazing community we have on this channel. You won't regret it, I promise. And check the description for the Discord, the thanks button, other ways you can interact with me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at IWrocker. I just hit my microphone. I'm sorry about that. And my name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, guys. Hatless IWrocker signing off. Catch you later.